That's better. I don't know why I was muted. I don't know. Maybe the computer, you guys didn't want to hear what I had to say. Beginning. Let's start over. I'm Anton Keith. This is the Ghost of Highbury channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode. Before we kick off, a couple things, a couple of housekeeping notes. Number one, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Hope you and all of your family have been safe during this, you know what, field holiday. Hope all you guys are safe and sound and healthy. I want to give a big shout out to someone that I didn't know personally, but we have something in common. And so this episode I want to dedicate to a person who I don't even know, but I just want to, I am a God fearing creature, and I just want to shout out a person that you might know named Shocks. And Shocks passed away yesterday. Shocks was a massive gooner, for what I've been told and what I've read on social media. Much, um, much loved in the Arsenal community, from accounts big and small, and from fans from all over the world. People just loved him from everything that I read. And he had a private fight with some sort of disease or something like that. Was in a coma, I believe, for a little bit, and tragically he lost a fight yesterday. So I just wanted to dedicate this show to Shocks and his family. Shocks, rest in peace, rest in paradise, as I like to say. May the Lord bless you, your family, and your friends, and everybody who knew you. So I just wanted to say that. Big shout to Ray, who has made sure that our community knew about this man, knew about his life, and knew how much he cared about Arsenal. So I just thought that it would be really cool to, put him on the forefront, because he seemed like a decent human being, and decent human beings need to be highlighted. So, it's been a while, everybody. Hope, like I said, everybody's been good. I've been good. Family's good. Hope your family's doing well as well. So, we would have been on for Liverpool, but Liverpool, we're all upset about it. Okay, we're upset about what Liverpool tried to do, and I didn't particularly care for. From what I was reading, I always knew it was three people, but you don't know. You don't want to demean people having some sort of illness or something, because you don't know how those individuals are taking it. I know they shut down their school for a day, their academy for a couple days, or training ground for a couple days, and things like that. That's just really as far as I'm going to go. I don't really want to bring up that word, because the company or the platform where you'll be watching this, one of them likes to do funny things when you mention that. And so I don't I'm not monetized yet, but I want to make it there at some point. So I'm just going to move on from there. But needless to say, we were supposed to have a game in which I thought we would have done well. And I think when we play it the next time, I think we're going to win that game as well. You can call me overconfident, call me what you want. That's just me believing in what I'm seeing with my eyes. If you would have told me I'd be thinking this at the beginning of the year, that'd be a totally different story. But the corners we have turned in the past, I would say month and a half, 2 months, have given me a new outlook on this team. So we find ourselves facing Nottingham Forest in the third round of the FA Cup tomorrow. And I'm excited for it, not because I'm expecting something new or different. I expect us to blow them out of the water. But I'm just really, if you're like me, I'm just excited to see my team play, because it always seems like, because we're not in the Champions League, Europa League, I just don't see them as much as I'm used to seeing them during the season. It's like we've missed so many games because we're not in those tournaments, that I just find myself missing them a whole lot, watching them play, reacting, interacting with you guys online and things like that. So if you want to interact with me, my Twitter handle is up there. It's at Highbury Ghost US. If you want to email me, you're interested in being on the live stream or one of the videos on YouTube, please just send me an email. Actually, I'll throw it in the comments. I am at the ghostofhighbury@gmail.com. very easily, or you can DM me on Twitter. I respond to all DMs. I'm not that big that I'm getting so many that I can start ignoring you guys or anything like that, or just tag me in something. I am trying to build up a roster of people that we regularly have on the channel. But if you're interested and you are an Arsenal fan, do me a favor, reach out. I love to have you on. With that being said, we get a lot of things. Here's the agenda for today. We are going to, Mikel just finished his Nottingham Forest sort of press conference. He's back in the house. He did a training session. We're gonna go over the transcripts of that. See if there's anything newsworthy in there. I listened to it as I prep for the show. Nothing too crazy, but if you haven't heard it, then you can go over it with me. We have the transcripts. Then we will touch on the game, and then we will pick a starting 11. I know it's going to be heavily rotated. I don't know if it's going to be heavily rotated because, quite frankly, especially in midfield, we're missing a lot of people. And then we will end off the show just touching on a lot of the transfer rumors and things like that. Right now, I mean, as I stream this, I mean, the Vlahovic rumors are just flying out. I mean, Fabrizio just, he's over on his Twitch channel talking right now as we speak, and he's saying, we'll get there. We will get there at the end. That's how we will end the show. And then what I would love to do is maybe sometime midday, I mean, maybe tomorrow afternoon or midday Sunday, do another stream or another YouTube video or something like that. Just the reflections after this Nottingham Forest game. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's pull up the transcripts from Arsenal and with the coach, and let's just see what Coach Mikel had to say, or the manager had to say about the club and about the upcoming game. So here we are. And if it's anything about I'm just going to skip that. So first of all, they started asking him about the No More Red campaign. And if you don't know what that is, basically, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, Arsenal, in collaboration with Adidas, dropped. Well, I don't want to say dropped. They revealed, because I would say dropped, but they're not going to sell them. Kits with no red in them. And what they're symbolizing is, the red symbolizes sort of blood. And in London and probably across the entire country of England, they have had an uptick in violence, especially with knives, and especially in London. I think they said that it's been 30 sort of homicides this year, and it's been like the most, on the record, which, okay. But so they built a program basically saying enough is enough, and they need to do something to, that basically the video that came out was symbolizing that the community looks at Arsenal and looks at the stadium as sort of like a way out, and they need to do more. And that yes, through playing games and entertaining people, maybe while people are being entertained, they're not committing violence and things like that, but maybe it's like a self-admission that they want to do more. And so they started this campaign, and I thought it was beautifully done. I am a freelance videographer. I love videos like that. I like everything that Arsenal does like this. It's sort of like that hashtag Classinal thing that we in the fan base like to talk about. Very, very cool. I started with the Metropolitan Police, retweeted the video. A lot of other, organizations retweeted it. The only thing that I said, but I retweeted it, was that I wish that like for a day or two that they actually sold it. So not because the club need more money or anything like that, but because I believe that they could have done something maybe for the victims' families, or maybe established something where, something to keep kids off the street, or because there are many different reasons. If you're watching this outside of the US, here in the US, we deal with a lot of violence, especially a lot of inner city violence, not specifically with guns, but with knives, more with firearms. And what we find in this country is a lot of times violence caused by use is because they don't really have anything to do. They're outside, they don't, have, maybe they can't afford to be on sports teams, maybe they're not athletic, but there are other things you can do that involve maybe your brain, not necessarily using your arms or your legs or something like that. And so if they found that if they have meaningful work outside of school and maybe outside of home, then they're less likely and less likely to commit these violences just because their time is being occupied. And so I would have liked to have seen maybe for 2 days, then he just took all of the profits for maybe 2 days of sales or just one day of sales or something like that and established something. I know football is big around the world, but but not every kid is into football. And established something for these kids to, some sort of organization where they could just maybe they have computers set up or other sports or maybe academic based activities or clubs or something they could have done because they would have made so much money. I mean, it's a clean looking kit and it's for a good reason. So that would have been the only thing I would have changed, but I absolutely adore it. And I absolutely believe that that more could be done. And I see them stepping up. So big shout to them. And so he says, well, obviously we haven't really been involved as a club over the years with, well, we have been really involved as a club over the years of knife crime. We have the capacity to give exposure to that issue in London, and everyone at the club has been extremely supportive, especially with the players and our sponsor Adidas, who have been exceptionally good to come with some great ideas and support. I think it's very beneficial. I mean, I guess, unless you guys have very short memories, remember Mesut Ozil was attacked. Him and Sead Kolasinac were attacked with guys with knives and things like that. And right now it's sort of a it's sort of a joke because we talked about how strong Kolasinac was and stuff like that, but and how tough and he's a bodyguard and things like that. But at the time, it was a very serious thing. Gabriel, same thing. The player, I believe the right back for or left back for Man City, similar thing. So violence is definitely going up in England. So I think that this is the perfect time. I remember him touching on like why now? Why did they do this now? And basically he said they wanted to do, and I'm paraphrasing, they wanted to do this a long time ago, but because of it just they couldn't find the right time to implement it. And so now they found the time, they had a great idea and they wanted to run with it. So they went ahead and did that. Let me see. I keep talking about that. And then they ask him about younger players playing. We still have a young squad. A lot of them are already really young, but we will assess the squad. I'm sure they'll rotate. It depends probably how strong we come out the gates. We come flying out of the gates and put like a 2-0 or 3-0 on them, then you'll probably see some players that you want to see. But like he said, there are a lot of people who are really young and they need time anyway. They just need to play. They're really, really young and they need all the minutes. We don't, like I said, we don't have Europa League to play. We're not in the Conference League, thank goodness. We don't have Champions League group stage. So that's a lot of games that normally these kids would be playing, but they don't have the opportunity. So despite the opponent, despite their level, we still have a lot of young players who need that match playing experience. They asked him how he's doing from, and he said he's feeling good and, he feels good. He talked about the refs, and I talked about this during my last video. I will, after this finishes and I can, do some things to it, I will leave the link to that video if you're interested about my thoughts about the Man City game and the referees and things like that. I'll leave it up there so you guys can check it out. And he wasn't happy. He wasn't happy, but he did pull the Jose. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. He kind of pulled one of those, and I understand, right? Because it's been, and since then things have come out about why Gabriel got the first yellow. I mean, we have video footage. It's weird how many times fans can see things, but we don't, but they don't. And it's like it makes you think that, okay, are you choosing not to see it? Is there something written about what you can see? Can people release new information to you, and then you take that in consideration? Because I believe, considering everything that happened, I think that it should have been rescinded and he just should have gotten one yellow. Because if what you said is he got the first yellow because he made contact with the referee, where it's clear on the video that he was pushed. Everybody has seen it. So, and I understand if you think he made contact with you on purpose, then I mean, I guess I would have no issues with you even choosing to send them off. But if that's the reason that you gave him the first yellow, and then upon review, you see that he was pushed into him, then I think that they should have did some retroactive rescinding of cards. But we move, it's not there. So he was supposed to miss the Liverpool game because of Liverpool getting the game canceled because of, now he's going to miss this game. Gabriel's going to miss this game. But needless to say, Mikel was not very happy about the officiating for the game, and kind of made it known. But he pulled the Jose. They really pressed him about COVID cases. He didn't want to touch, because if you don't know, what happens is today they would have taken their COVID test, and they I believe they take the PCR, and so it takes 24 hours, and so they will take the test today. They'll get the results tomorrow, and so that will let them know who's available and who's not, because I guess maybe the rapid tests aren't good enough or whatever. And so that's the avenue that they go down. So they take the test the 24 hours before, and then the morning of games they get their results, and then that's how they. And then he talks about how difficult that is to manage, and they just have to go from game to game because he doesn't know who's going to be, not necessarily fit, but who's not going to have COVID up until the day of. So he kind of has to, make his decisions based upon that day and who's, tested negative and ready to rock and roll. Let me see. They talked a little bit about him watching the game at home. It is what it is. Then they talk about him about Eddie. And I mean, unless you Eddie wants to leave. Eddie wants to play, just like Maitland-Niles wants to play. And I understand. I mean, if you believe you should play, then go and find somewhere to play. But obviously, just because you say that, I mean, your rights are owned by the club, and until you those aren't, then you have to, you kind of have to respect the club's wishes. And he's been a professional. He's trained hard as he should, and basically, the Mikel is saying that he doesn't really want him to go, but he understands. And I don't know if they're, I know Crystal Palace and Patrick Vieira are sort of looking at him. I don't know how serious that is, but because people put rumors out there all the time, so you don't know how serious people are. But he basically said he didn't, in so many words, he didn't want him to go, and they've made that clear to him. But if an opportunity comes up, especially if he could start in a Premier League team, that might be more tempting than being behind Lacazette, and then if we actually bring in someone else, then now you're behind him with Flo Balogun potentially going to Middlesbrough on a 6-month loan. They asked him about Aubameyang, and we will Don't want to talk about Aubameyang now. Basically, everybody has seen it, what happened with Aubameyang, and like people love to do, they love to have like that immediate reaction. Um, they saw him out at a restaurant with teammates, and then it came out that when he got to I'm trying to turn off do not disturb so you don't hear any more beeping. Do not disturb. So I don't even know if I want to touch on this, but we should wait and see what happens, which is basically what he said. He said he was not in my control. We had released him to do what he to go with his national team. So you don't know, and we don't know. So we're kind of judging him based on what he had going on here. Right. And unless, COVID has now, I didn't mean to say that, at least that, has become somewhat visible and where, you intentionally give it to yourself, you don't really know. So we will see. We will see. I won't really mess with that because it has to do with who. Um, they asked him about Charlie Patino, and Charlie, he basically said, "Hey, he's been training. He's with us right now. We will see tomorrow based on the what test, and he's eligible to play." They touched on him about asking him about going to Roma. He has been unveiled and showing him landing at the airport and things like that. So best of luck to him. I hope he absolutely smashes it there. I actually like him as a player. I just hope he does well, and I hope he um, earns himself a move for big money that benefits him and benefits our club as well. Or if he chooses to come back, I hope he comes back and tears up the Prem here or wherever. I just hope he takes this opportunity and shows his worth. But basically, he told him he sat him down. He was straight with him. He appreciated that, and he really hasn't gotten much time to play. And so, I'm especially with Xhaka sort of being injured and then coming straight back in and not having to earn his place. It's funny that he talked about that, about like, when you get an opportunity, you have to take your chances. But Xhaka really didn't have to take his chances. He kind of put him straight back in. So because he talked about that, because at the end of the press conference, they asked him a lot about Emil Smith Rowe not starting. And basically what he said was he hasn't been fit enough to necessarily start, and he hasn't been able to fully practice and things like that. And people who have stepped in have taken their chances. Well, you didn't really give Maitland-Niles a really big chance. And the last time that he played that I remember, and like I'm streaming his live, so I could be wrong, but the last time I remember him playing, he got man of the match. So I don't know what more you have to do, especially as a midfielder. I mean, did he need to score worldy or something like that? But he was man of the match, and we haven't seen him since. Now, he could have gotten what? He could have been injured after that. A lot of things could have happened that I don't know. But from an outsider sort of standpoint, you're kind of talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're saying that when the opportunity presents itself, you need to take your chances. Well, that's what he did, but it still wasn't enough. But on the other side of it, he said that he was straight with them and that he was confident that he wanted to do this, that it was a good move for him. And he basically told him, like, well, I can't stand in your way. You've made your point. So they asked him about signing a new striker. They tried to ask him specifically about Alexander Isak, which of course, he gave the typical arson, I don't speak about other players and, outside of the club sort of thing. And, I could appreciate that. They asked him for some weird reason about dietary restrictions and stuff like that. Maybe because something that's going on at Tottenham. I didn't really understand why. And then they asked him about Emil Smith Rowe being an impact sub who has absolutely been killing it. I guess somebody asked, and then they ended it with I guess maybe pundits saying that Saka is already considered world class. And basically, what he said is he doesn't like to put those type of labels on players, especially young players, because it's a lot of pressure. But he's on his way. I mean, you see it, I see it. He's on his way. I would probably say if he keeps this level up and keeps going up, and I would say in the next 3 years or so, he's probably going to be that world class player. And I think they were leading him to asking, were they going to tie him down to an extension? And he basically just said that there's plenty of time to talk about that. So and that's where it ended. That's where it ended. So yeah, I mean, a pretty cut and dry press conference. Good to see him back. Glad he's healthy. Glad he didn't. Glad he didn't. I don't know what that means, but I hope it's something cool. What's up to you? What's up to you, bro? Thank you for joining me for the stream. So yeah, I hope that he's healthy. Hope that he can continue to lead this team as long as he's here. I know some things have come up about him possibly going to Man City and stuff like that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I am going to leave my thoughts about him until the end of the season. He's made it this far. There is no way, unless we tank it and get relegated, that they're going to get rid of him this far into the season. So it's not even worth even thinking about. So I will leave it there. So a pretty basic press conference. I'm ready for tomorrow. I hope you're ready for tomorrow. It's going to be it's going to be an entertaining game, I believe. Let's after that, let's pick our team. I'm going to go to the old squad selector and pick our team, and let me know in the comments who you think should start. So let me go over to the old squad selector. So, it's going to be hard to do because I don't know who's going to have So, I'm just going to these are going to be big time guesses based on, hopefully everybody being healthy. I know there are at least going to be 2 people who have it. So that's just how it's been like the past 2 or 3 weeks. 2 or 3 people have been out. I'm so happy that Tomiyasu's back. I want everybody to come back, but I'm just glad that like people are making it through this without any sort of long-term effects. So let's start off at the back, and I'm going to say that Bernd Leno is going to play this game. I don't see any reason why. I mean, he's been our cup guy, and he hasn't given us any reason to doubt that. He's been solid throughout all of our cup games. And I think he'll be good for this one. Moving to right back. Here's where it gets interesting. Do you play Tomiyasu because he missed, I believe, 2 weeks? I think he missed 2 weeks, and then he's played the one game against Man City where he was doing well. I don't know if he's still holding some injuries or anything like that, but he didn't look injured against Man City. He looked very, very well. We do have Cedric who can play. I don't really know who's going to play there. I'm going to say we're going to rotate heavily because it's an opportunity. It's a championship team. It's a semifinal. It is 2 legs. No, this is the 3rd round. I'm thinking about the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. So this is a one-off. So I'm going to say Cedric's going to play because we do have, because of the reshuffle of the games for over the next 3 weeks, we do have a lot of games coming up. We have 2 games against Liverpool. We have Spurs in the middle. We have Burnley in there as well. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that right before we get out of here. So I'm going to say Cedric at right back. The center back, I believe that one of the 2 are going to play. Of course, well, I'm going to say that because Gabriel can't play, Ben White's going to have to play. I don't think he's going to do something weird like move Tamiyasu over. That would be interesting if he, like I believe in the Japan national team, Tamiyasu plays a left-sided center back. It starts for them. I don't think that we're going to do that. That would be interesting to see. I think if he did it, it would work. But for this game, I think that it's just going to be Ben White and let me see, Rob Holding. I don't think we're going to see any of Pablo Amari. I think that him and Chambers are probably going to be on their way out. So I don't think they want to risk injuring those guys. They want to play. So let me see. Let me get them in here. Why won't it move? Let me close and open it back up. So I'm going to have Ben White in here. Ben White here. And then we're going to do Rob Holding here. I know he kind of had the nightmare heading the ball in for the the Man City winner. But besides that, he did get booked as well. So, hopefully he can improve about it. Maybe that's just, like bench rust. He can kind of shake that off and keep going. Over here at left back, very, very easily. I think he's going to rotate and put Nuno in. Now, here's where we run into some issues. We only have, this is where they were asking about Charlie Patino. I saw that Hutchison trained, but then I think probably the game has ended now, but the under 23s just played and Hutchison started for that team. So I don't think that he's going to then turn around. He might make it to the bench, maybe. But I don't think he's going to play. He might just be there in case of emergency. But let's fill this in. So, of course, I think starting there, it's going to be Sambi Lakonga and Granit Xhaka. Because we don't really have anybody else. I don't think there's anybody else we can play. Am I forgetting anybody? Nope. Well, El Nini's gone. Yep, we don't really have anybody else. So we got Charlie Patino. That's it. Unless he does something weird and moves Ben White up there, which there's nothing showing that there's nothing saying he would do that. Let's move on. So that's my two midfielders. On the left, I'm going to say I'm going to say Emil Smith Rowe. And then let me see. I just think he's going to play. I think Martinelli's going to play too, but I think he might start off up front. I'm going to give Laka an opportunity to rest. I think in the middle, you're going to have Martin Odegaard's going to start. I just think he needs as many games as possible. And then on the right, I think Pepe's going to start. Don't start calling me a Pepe stan. I know it. Let me own my labels, okay? So where are you, Pepe? And then up front, I think we're going to have Gabriel Martinelli. So that's my starting 11. Let me pick a couple bench players. I think that Balogun's going to be gone. Of course, Hines going to be there. Carantini will be on the bench. Pablo Mari probably make it to the bench. He's back and playing. Kolasinac, I don't know if he is fit enough to play or be on the bench. Tamiyasu will be on the bench. And then where's Lacazette? Yeah. And Lacazette. So we are really short. Chambers will probably be on the bench. But especially in midfield and in attack. And then, Eddie will probably round that out. So that's how I see it. That's how I see it right now. That's how I see us lining up. Let me know in the comments what you think, how we are going to line up. I think, like I said, I'm just rotating everybody around except the midfield and a few players up front. I think that we're going to rotate around just because we don't have a lot of players, which which leads me to, let me get this out of here. Let me stop sharing it. Which leads me to my, this leads me because we're short, and he mentioned that we're short, and we're short a midfielder and a striker. Kenna mentioned to that during the broadcast, so it kind of leads me into the final point I wanted to talk about, which was winter transfers. Like I discussed earlier, we Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going on a loan, should be confirmed. If not, I can look it up in a second. Should be confirmed going to Roma for a 6-month loan with no option to buy. A lot of people wanted a like you must buy him at the end of the season. I think that we've seen with the likes of Willock going to Newcastle that they didn't have a commitment to buy, and we ended up getting 25 million. It ended up turning to, ended up being so far being really good business. So I understand why they might not want to, despite us wanting to, because we want the money right now because we needed to fill holes right now. So, and so we got him leaving, potentially Flo going to Middlesbrough. We have so many. We have what I said Pepe. Oh man, you know what? You're right. You're right. Pepe can't start because he's an AFCON. Ooh, what do we do? So that means that Martinelli might have to play here. And then that means that Eddie might start here. Let me hit Eddie and Katia. Yeah. So Eddie might start there. Yeah, because Pepe's gone. Yeah, I botched that. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's how we're gonna do that. So you can I just changed it on my screen so I can remind myself later. So yeah, I got Eddie starting. I got Gabriel Martinelli on the right, Smith Rowe on the left, and then I have Martin Odegaard down the middle. And then I have Chambers, Lacazette, Tomiyasu, Pablo Mari, Kieran Tierney, and Carl Hein on the bench. So we need players. We need a midfielder, and we need a striker right now. Okay. So the names, there's so many names, so many midfielders. Magalhaes out of Lyon. Who else? Oh my gosh. All the strikers. Ivan Toney, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dusan Vlahovic. Who else? Alexander Isak. So many players, so many midfielders. Basuma. There's so many players, but right now it seems like personally, I'm trying to think how do I want to. It's hard for me to see sort of Vlahovic, and it could be his representation sort of turning this down. It's hard for me to see that. It's hard for me because you really don't know what's in the mind of the player. These days, these players, they just let their agents handle everything. Right? He hasn't come out and said anything, right? And neither has his agents, but you've seen the reports about them not answering the phone, this, that, the third. And it kind of makes you upset as an Arsenal fan because like this is Arsenal, but we have to be realistic in the realism is brother wants to play in the Champions League. He wants European competition, and he's been at Fiorentina since he was 18 years old, and he wants to see them back in European competitions. That's sort of a personal goal for him. That's been widely reported. So getting him to leave now, but we need him now to sort of secure our place, because I believe, and I bet you believe, that if we get a good striker in, we get a good midfield partner for Partey, then we're on our way, especially with the league, because in collaboration with the way the league is starting to shape out, right? It looks like third and fourth are up for grabs. So it looks like first is Man City's gone. They're gone. No one's catching them, right? But second, third, and fourth look like, in fifth look like anybody who feels like going on a run of form, the second part of the season can sit comfortably, right? And we are a striker and a midfielder partner for Partey away from solidifying the Champions League. I mean, we played our hard away games so already. We've gotten them out of the way. We are in a situation where we don't have a ton of games every week. A lot of these teams are going to have to play Champions League games, Europa League games midweek, and they're going to their teams are going to get depleted. We are in perfect position to make a decent run. Let me show you. So lately, let me see. I've gotten new. I've gotten. Let me see. We've gotten some new David Ornstein notifications. All right, so let me show you these two. Let me share. This is from Twitter. So Fabrizio's first, he's saying that this is like 5 minutes ago. So he's saying the people around Arsenal are a bit worried. They're not receiving any big proposals for Aubameyang. They hope that in the final week or two, a club will come in for him with maybe a loan with option to buy or something. Very interesting. That's going to be tough with because we're probably going to have to pay a big chunk of his salary because he makes 250 a week or something like that. And there are not many clubs outside of the Premier League who can pay that. There are not many clubs inside the Premier League who could pay that or want to pay that for a 31-year-old guy. And so I don't know if that's contingent upon us getting someone else or what. I really don't know, but I hope it's not, because it might not happen. Maybe if he has a tremendous showing at AFCON, which, as you know, because of he's not going to be able to play the first two games Monday, and I think they have a game on either Wednesday or Thursday. He's not going to be able to play. Hopefully, by the time he does get to play, they'll still be in it. And so we move on to Dusan Vlahovic, and Fabrizio is saying here, this is like a 4-pointer where he says, I think the possibility for Vlahovic to leave in January, I think it's a possibility only if a big proposal will arrive and Arsenal are on it. So let me clarify. It's true that Arsenal want Vlahovic. They wanted him since a long time. The real problem is the player. And let me expand upon this here, because Fiorentina are open to negotiate. My feeling is this: since months, the player wants to complete the season with Fiorentina and bring them back to European football and then leave in the summer. What can happen? Arsenal should be very good with proposal and money, with project and many things to change Dusan Vlahovic's mind. It's not going to be easy because his agents, they weren't answering the phone for us, and so either he fires his agent or he just says, hey, this is a really, really good deal. I want to take this. If you're not willing to make it happen for whatever reason, then maybe I need to replace you. I don't know. It might be too late for that. That might have needed to have been something that was going to happen maybe in December or November or something like that. But I don't know. One thing I know is we definitely want him. I hope that we have a plan. I think I would give it no more than maybe the next 5 days to really solidify. And because then you need to move on to get in Alexander Isak, or Dominic Calvert-Lewin, or whoever else they sort of target. You need to woo them and make sure that they're good to go. I know the numbers that have been sort of thrown around for some of these other players are crazy, and I don't know if I would pay for them. I do like Isak. I do like what he brings. I don't think he's as polished as Vlahovic is in terms of scoring, but his hold-up play, his passing, his close control with the ball, his assists, his vision, I like everything else. But the fact that they want somewhere near 75 million for him, I just don't think that we should pay that much for a player like that. Even Tony, I don't think he would cost that much. But do Arsenal want him? Do they think he's a high profile enough player to get him in January? They could probably wait till the summer. And so so I don't really know what we're gonna do. Hopefully it doesn't depend on just us getting Aubameyang out the door. Personally, I would like to see him stay and kind of redeem himself, and then if they decide in the summer is if it's the best for everybody, he makes a deal, then makes a clean break, redeems himself with the fans, gets the send off he deserves, along with Lacazette. If Lacazette doesn't choose to stay, I mean, despite how you may feel about him being late and stuff on the pitch, I mean, they were two outstanding servants. It's just my opinion. I don't like, that some of the things he might have done off the pitch in terms of the tardiness and things like that. But I think on the pitch, they've won us trophies. I mean, we're not winning any of those FA Cups without them. I mean, you can say what you want. Say what you want, but we're not winning any of those as long as they've been there. And so I think they deserve a proper send-off, and I think it would be really, really cool. But if he decides to leave because the manager has decided that he's not going to play him anymore for whatever reason, then this might be the better way. So I hope we get someone. Personally, I would like to see the gentleman from Lyon. What's his name? I think his name is let me see, Twitter. I like I guess Tuca Mini is trending for some reason. Villarreal's looking at him. Oh, Manchester United keen on Tuca Mini. Wow. Hopefully they don't get him. That would be not good. Yes, the gentleman from Lyon, Brazilian guy. We've been looking at him. I mean, he looks amazing. Look at some of the comps. I mean, he just fulfills he just ticks every box, right? So I'd like him to partner Thomas Partey, and I would like either Vlahovic or Isak. I don't want to spend 70 million. I don't. If we came in for 55 million plus Torreira for Vlahovic, I wouldn't be mad at that. I believe the gentleman from Brazil is going to cost. I think they want 45 mil. I don't know if we can pay that, or I don't know if we will pay it. I think we should pay it because I think we would get an outstanding. He's young, he's brilliant, he's consistent, he's not injury prone. I think that we would get an outstanding return on investment. I think that if he did come in and we were able to secure a Champions League place, we've already made our money back. We've already made our money back. The first game that we have, and it's not it's not that music, and it's actually that champions, and it's that the big star, the guys in the middle in the center, like it's if it's that, we've made our money back. We've absolutely made our money back. The first Champions League game we play. So yeah, I think that's who I want to see. If you want to see somebody different, let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to see who you would like. That's about it where I'm at. I'm at an hour. So that's about it for me. It's been a great time streaming with you guys. Like I said, I will see you guys later. Do me a favor, interact with me on Twitter. My Twitter feed's up there. It's at Highbury Ghost US. Send me a DM if you're interested in being on the stream or on a video or on a podcast. Podcast is coming soon. And so that's really it. I will see you guys after the game. Hopefully I can get a guest lined up for a reaction video, and we will see you then. Until then, it's been real. This is the Ghost of Highbury. It's been fun. I'll see you guys later. Peace.